One of the most silent struggles many Christians or many believers have is this feeling of, I am not ready. I'm not ready to start up this. I'm not ready to start speaking. I am not ready to start singing. I'm not ready to start obeying God in this aspect. I'm not ready to step into what God has placed in my heart. And sometimes we allow that feeling to stay with us for a very, very long time. And one thing I've realized, I don't want to say I've realized because I'm still realizing it, is that feeling unready does not always mean that you are not qualified. Sometimes it simply means that you are human, so stop overthinking it. Sometimes it means that you're scared, because as a human sometimes you're scared, right? And sometimes it means that we're comparing our beginning with someone else's middle. Sometimes we're waiting for that confidence that may never really come before we start obeying God. And the truth is that many of us believe that readiness is a feeling that we arrive at. Like one day we'll just wake up and then all of a sudden we are feeling very bold, very confident, very clear, and completely prepared. But sometimes life with God does not always work in that way. If you listen to the process stories of these mighty men of God that God is using mightily in our generation, you would see that at some point in their life they all had these moments when they felt unready, when they felt unqualified, when they felt unsure about the direction that they felt God was placing in their hearts. One thing I want us to take home today is that God often equips us even before we start feeling ready. And sometimes readiness is something we discover while we're walking and not before we start walking. And the truth is, God hardly calls the already confident. He calls those people that are willing. He calls those people that are available. He calls those people that are unsure, but somehow they are still very open to do what God wants them to do. That fear you're feeling does not mean that you're not qualified. It does not also mean that you are not prepared. Sometimes what it simply means is that you're stepping into a territory that is not familiar. And the fact that that territory is not familiar does not mean that God has not assigned you to take over that territory. This is my encouragement to you. If there's something that keeps returning to your heart, maybe it's an idea that you keep postponing, or that step that you keep delaying, or that calling that you keep questioning, maybe the issue is not really if you're ready or not. Maybe the issue is about trust. Do you trust God enough? Do you believe that that thing that God has called you is able to perfect it in you? Do you believe that God does not make any mistakes with assignments? Do you trust that your imperfections does not cancel your purpose? Do you also trust that obedience to God does not necessarily require your emotional perfection? Sometimes starting small is still obedience. Sometimes those little unsure steps you take is also part of faith. And sometimes the grace of God meets you when you are in motion, meets me when I'm in motion, meets us when we are in motion, and not when we are hesitating to do what God has called us to do. And I kid you not, I am learning this as well, that readiness is not always a destination. Sometimes it is something that we discover. It is a discovery that happens while we are walking with God, even if we are trembling while doing it, even if we are having heart palpitation while doing it. Okay, I wanted to laugh about this because I know why. So if you feel unready, it does not necessarily mean that you need to stop. Maybe what it means is that you should just start gently and trust that God has already placed more on the inside of you than what that fear in your heart is telling you. So when I was preparing this script for this video, at some point I felt like, Rejoice, are you sure you're supposed to make a video on this? Because this script is actually speaking to you. So but then I have to share it because I really think there's also somebody out there that needs to hear this, because yes, I really trust that there's somebody out there that also needs to hear this, just like I needed to hear it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and God bless you.